Hey, deep divers, welcome back to the show. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get right into it. This is going to be a wild one. Stephen A. Smith going head-to-head with Sean Hannity
Oh, yeah.
about the 2024 election.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to break down their whole fiery exchange, but especially their clash over Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. You guys are going to want to hear this.
It's so interesting how this whole thing kind of gets at this, bigger tension in American politics right now, you know? What even is truth and honesty these days?
Yeah.
It's so politically charged.
Okay, so picture this. Stephen A. Smith is on Hannity's show, and Hannity, he comes out swinging at Vice President Harris.
Right.
Saying she's all over the place in the media,
Mm-hmm.
using, he actually calls it word salads to hide her true beliefs.
Wow.
And then, get this, he even compares her to Trump,
Yeah.
saying that Trump's a straight shooter.
Okay, so first of all, gotta remember what the vice president even does, right?
Yeah.
Harris's main job is to back up President Biden, not really come up with her own separate thing.
Yeah.
But Hannity praising Trump's clarity, I mean, come on. That's where it gets interesting, right?
Right.
Trump, let's just say he's got his own way of talking. I mean, is Hannity serious here, or is he trying to play some kind of game?
And Smith was not having it. He basically called Hannity out on the spot. I was like, no way we're watching the same guy.
Oh, wow.
And then they get into it about President Biden's age and, his cognitive abilities. And Hannity accuses the Democrats of just ignoring all the signs that Biden's declining.
Right.
And Smith just fires back with what's Harris supposed to say? About defending her own boss.
It makes you think about how much age and leadership are intertwined in people's minds.
Totally.
Not just in politics, but everywhere, Yeah. How do we even find that balance between experience and all the stuff that's changing so fast these days?
I mean, this is like a classic dilemma, right? And things get really intense when Hannity keeps demanding Harris to just, tell the truth about all this stuff. Inflation, border security, you name it. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife.
I mean, truth has just become such a slippery word these days,
Right.
One side says it's a lie, the other side's no, it's just our opinion. It makes you wonder if Hannity really wants the actual truth or if he's just using the word as a weapon.
Like a tool to control the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then, boom, out of nowhere, Smith just drops this bomb. Are you sure you want to go there? Talking about somebody lying.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Trump. Mic drop moment.
Yeah, that was a genius move, totally turning the tables on Hannity.
Yes.
He brings up Trump's own history, which, let's just say it's complicated, with the truth. And Hannity's stuck. He's either got to defend Trump's whole record or back off from going after Harris.
So good.
Yeah.
And you could tell Smith was not going to let Hannity run the show.
Right.
He made for some really good TV. And, it's interesting how Smith talks about what could happen if Trump wins. He brings up this idea of a revenge tour. What would that even look like? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? It's a question that's on a lot of people's minds. And don't forget, guys, before we go any further, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you're thinking down in the comments, and get ready for more, because this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah. This is where things really heat up, especially with Smith's final thoughts. He didn't hold back at all. Stick around to see how it all goes down.
Oh, yeah.
You won't want to miss it. It's wild, right? Smith's not afraid to take Hannity on, even on his own show. He's really saying, we can't let these talking points slide anymore. We need to get real about what truth and honesty even mean in politics today.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just policy or being truthful. Smith really goes after Trump's character. He even shared a screenshot of their whole clash on X.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, it blew up. What a power move, right?
Totally. It just shows how sure Smith is about his arguments. He knew he'd hit a nerve, and he wanted everyone to see it.
It's he knew this wasn't just another shouting match on cable news.
Right?
It was a statement about where American politics is right now.
Yeah.
And he was going to make his voice heard.
And, it's important to point out that this wasn't just some partisan attack.
Totally.
Remember, Smith even brings up other Republicans.
Yeah.
Like Nikki Haley and Chris Christie. So it's he's willing to talk to the other side.
Yeah, he's not against Republicans.
Right.
He's just against Trump.
Right.
It's kind of nuanced, you know?
Totally.
It pushes back on that whole us versus them thing we always see in politics.
Exactly.
And then there's Hannity just throwing out this playful little prediction that Smith's going to vote for Trump anyway.
Right.
But Smith shuts it down immediately. Never.
Classic Hannity, right? Trying to lighten the mood, make a joke. but Smith's not having it.
It's such a perfect picture of how they are together. A little joking, some tension underneath, and these completely opposite views on Trump.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, this whole thing was just crazy. Truth, lies, character, the future of America, the whole 9 yards. There's a lot to unpack here.
It really shows you how divided we are as a country right now.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that Smith's even willing to have this conversation
Yeah.
on Hannity's show of all places,
Yeah.
it gives you a little bit of hope,
That
right?
does.
It's like maybe we can still talk about these tough issues
Okay.
without just screaming at each other and getting personal.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying we can disagree without being jerks about it, which feels pretty revolutionary these days.
Absolutely. So what do you think is the biggest thing to take away from this whole Smith-Hannity showdown?
For me, it's that Smith was willing to stand up to Hannity right there on his own show.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a reminder that we can't be afraid to speak up and challenge our leaders. We can't just accept whatever narratives they're trying to feed us.
And what about you guys listening? What stuck out to you? Was it the clash over how Trump talks, the debate about Biden's mental state, or that powerful statement Smith makes at the end? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts.
And while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future deep dives.
We got to keep these conversations going.
Yeah, we need more of this.
Absolutely.
You know, it really feels like Smith going on Hannity's show was like a turning point.
Yeah.
Not just for them, but for how we even talk about politics. Like, he showed you can actually push back respectfully,
Right?
even on a show that's known for being super opinionated.
Yeah, it's like he's saying we don't have to stay in these echo chambers.
Totally.
We can actually listen to different ideas, question stuff, and maybe even find some things we agree on.
Okay, so to wrap this whole thing up,
Yeah.
what's the one thing we want our listeners to remember from this Smith-Hannity showdown?
It all comes back to truth, you know? Hannity was praising Trump's honesty while he was going after Harris, but was that even a fair comparison?
Right.
Like, what's the full story there? We can't just take things at face value, especially during an election.
No, absolutely not. Don't just believe what someone tells you, no matter how convincing they sound. Do
Exactly.
your own research, look at different sides, and come to your own conclusions.
Right.
And that brings us to our final thought for you guys today. So, do you think Hannity was right about Trump's communication style, especially when you consider his criticism of Harris? Let us know down in the comments.
We love hearing what you guys think.
It keeps the conversation going.
For sure.
And hey, before you go, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future deep dives. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.